Hi, so welcome to yet another episode of RTG. So this problem also asked in last 30 days of Google. It seems like a hard but not a hard problem. Let's read out the problem. The problem statement is simple. You have given an array of tasks, and each task have the actual energy you need to finish the task, and minimum energy required to start the task. ठीक है? Basically, if I say in Hindi. एक्चुअल एनर्जी तुम्हें चाहिए अगर तुम्हें पूरा टास्क कंप्लीट करना है तो, और मिनिमम एनर्जी चाहिए उसको एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट करने के लिए। ठीक है, करेक्ट। जैसे कि अगर 10,12 है तो, और तुम्हारा करंट एनर्जी 11 है, ओके, तो चाहिए तो 10 एनर्जी ही, वी जस्ट नीड 10 एनर्जी टू कंप्लीट इट, बट यू नीड एटलीस्ट 2 एनर्जी टू स्टार्ट इट, सो यू कांट स्टार्ट इट हियर, ओके, इफ यू हैव 11 एनर्जी. So the problem is return the minimum initial amount of energy you will need to finish all the tasks. So what is the minimum amount of energy? So the problem statement is clear. If you see the constraints, the constraint is 1e5 is the length of the array, and the actual and the minimum energy is less than equal to 1e4. Okay, so first my mind will try to find a pattern here that, okay, can we derive something some way such that I will get the answer that how can I calculate uh, how can I calculate the minimum energy so that I can complete all the tasks? Okay. So in such problems, the brain start uh, think the brain start think greedily. Okay. So in greedily, if you start to think, what will happen is, first of all, you will see, okay, the 1 comma 2 is there, then 2 comma 4 is there, then 4 comma 8 is there. Okay. So these are the tasks. So you will think, okay, the maximum is 8. So can we take the 8? Like, uh, I mean, if we take the 8, then okay, you will just start from that. Okay, it will take 4 energy. Then if I complete this, I will remain, my remained energy will be 4. Then I come to 4. Okay, fine. 4 minus 2, 2, and then 2, 2, and fine. But if we see to this problem, that if my task is this 1 comma 7, 2 comma 8, and this thing, so you will see the starting the maximum is 12. Okay, so once you think that, okay, can we start with 12, so you will think, okay, if I start with 12, जैसे ही process करेंगे, once I will process the task 6 comma 12, my remaining energy is 6. Now I can't take the 5 comma 11. Okay. So now we know that this won't work anyways. So now brain start thinking to another way that, okay, can we take the sum of maybe all the maximum energy required, but another problem is I want to find the minimum. Okay, so how will I find the minimum? So there is a one thing we need to notice here, that somehow we know that the maximum answer that is possible is, let's say, each of the array of each of the task has a maximum energy required or minimum energy required to start the task is, let's say, 1 0 0 0 0 10,000. Okay, everyone has 10,000. Okay, that भाई इसके पहले तो start ही नहीं कर सकते. Okay, so I will say that fine. अगर ऐसा ही है तो what I can do is I can take, I mean, in start 1,000, 10,000 into 10,000. I start with 1 8. Okay, कि भाई मैं इतने से स्टार्ट कर दूंगा, तब तो पॉसिबल है कि आई विल कंप्लीट ऑल द थिंग्स, बिकॉज मैक्सिमम यहाँ दे रखा है. ओके, एंड मिनिमम लेट से 1 you will take. So my brain started to think that, is any way that I can iterate over it and find a way that where I can get the sweet spot. Like at here, I just complete it, and before, if I take energy lesser than that in the start, I won't be able to complete it. Okay, so you need a way to do it optimally, and that the thing, if we focus on mind, that I mean, you'll find the monotonicity that if I can do a thing with X energy, then obviously I can do that thing with X plus 1 energy. It's monotonicity, okay? So I think the hint is enough to think about the binary search. So this is the sweet spot, or this is the uh, thing that that should come to the mind in the interview, that okay, fine, now I have to think in the direction of binary search. So our range is far. I know the range that okay, my t dot size, my range is low equals to 1, high can be maximum 1e9, 1e8 only, but let's say 1e9, take answer equals to 0. Then while low less than equals to high, the template, and mid equals to low plus high by 2. If check function of mid comma task I will pass is true, then answer equals to mid, and I will see in the left segment that can I do it into less energy. So high equals to mid minus 1. And if I can't get the answer with this mid, then I will say okay, let's try with more energy. That means low equals to mid plus 1. And this way we can return the answer. Now, one small check is here that for each energy you have to find it, okay, you have to try iterate, and you have to try it and find it that is it possible or not, okay, for each energy. So my question is, how will you iterate? I mean, you can't iterate because there is a way to iterate. There must be a way to iterate and find the thing, find the answer, uh, that can it pass or not. Because अगर मैं इसी टेस्ट केस की बात करूं, if I talk about this test case only, you should know that how to iterate. Okay, let's say the answer is you start with 32. Okay, so in 32 also you can't just process anything. You like if I say okay, start with the highest one. Okay, so you can't just process okay 32 and 32 minus, if I say 32 minus 10, तो मेरे पास 22 बचा. So this is process. Then 22 and 12 is greater than 22. So sorry, 22 is greater than 12. So 22 minus 10. So now 12 अब मेरे पास बचा. Now I'll process this. 12 minus 8. So I will get 4. Oh, sorry, 12 minus 9. So okay, so this is the actual energy that is required. Second was the actual energy, right? Second was the minimum energy. This was the actual energy. Okay, so 22, then 20, 12, and 12 minus 8, 4. Okay, so now this is the 4, and if you see 4 minus 2, 2. But here minimum energy required is 3. So you can't do with 32 this way. But the answer is 32. So think about this, that if you want to iterate and if you want to start the process, which start the process, which task you should start first? Start first. That is my question. So I will say that in task where the gap between the actual and the minimum start energy is highest, we should give that priority first. Okay. But why so? So as a problem we think that agar we are starting with a, let's say, energy x. Okay, we are starting with energy x, starting with energy x, and I will say that uh, I have ample of task. Okay, but there is a task where the energy consumption to complete the task is very less as compared to the energy required to start the task. Okay, so I should give priority that first somehow, because after completing that, obviously very less amount of energy will be consumed, but since it requires a high energy to start, that will also give the benefit. So we need to sort our task into such way. Sort t dot begin, comma t dot end, comma comparator. We need a comparator. So I will just, I have just two vector of int a, and I have vector of int b, and I want such that starting those arrays or those vector in the starting which have more difference, between its elements. Okay. So I will say that return absolute difference between uh what I say A0 minus A1 is greater than absolute difference between B0 minus B1. ओके, तो अगर मेरे पास दो वेक्टर हैं तो वो वाले पहले आएंगे जिनका डिफरेंस जो है वो ज्यादा होगा, राइट? सो नाउ वी नो, नाउ वी कैन स्टार्ट n tan equals to t dot size. We can start iterating int I equals to 0 less than n I plus plus, and I can simply check that if अगर ये वाली जो एनर्जी है that is the minimum energy at ti1 is greater than mid, so I will say return false, else mid equals to mid minus ti0 consume the energy that you will require and return true. This is it. Now I'll run it and see, and yeah, it's accepted. Yeah, so accepted. So yeah, this was the pretty much the problem. The idea was to find the binary search, that I can do the binary search. I mean, always there is a range and you want to think that can I iterate over all the answers? So you must think about the binary search and answer. And this was also the a very small and good idea that you need to sort them comparatively like this way to give the priority to these things first. So this was it. So yeah, we'll see in the next one. Till then, keep it coding.